Going to hand out some 49ers offseason grades to see how San Francisco fared following the NFL draft and NFL free agency. But before we get started, I want to hear from you, faithful, down in the comment section right now. How do you think John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, this front office, and this football team fared in this offseason? A, B, C, D, or F, grade it right now. You first take a look at some of the San Francisco 49ers key additions here. Javon Hargrave was the monster splash in free agency. Sam Darnold, a notable one just because he plays quarterback and he's a big name as a former number 3 overall pick. Isaiah Oliver going to be your nickel cornerback, I believe. Zane Gonzalez, is he going to compete with Jake Moody? We will certainly see. Clelin Ferrell never lived up to expectations after being that 2019 first-round pick by John Gruden, Mike Mayock, and the Las Vegas Raiders. Tashaun Gipson coming back to the Niners on that one-year contract. And Jon Feliciano could play a couple of spots along that offensive line. I think Niner fans are really going to like him. Let's go in depth on all of these players here. For Javon Hargrave, he is not good against the run. He is much better as a pass rusher. And as a pass rushing defensive tackle last couple of years, he's honestly been right up there with Aaron Donald and Chris Jones. 11 sacks a year ago for the Philadelphia Eagles. And playing along the same offensive line as Nick Bosa, I'm fascinated to see how they complement one another, but also how they help each other out. Because you can't double team both without leaving one of them one-on-one against an opposing offensive lineman. For Sam Darnold, all of the buzz really cracks me up. Like, we know what Sam Darnold is at this point. Can Kyle Shanahan maximize him like he's maximized C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins? For sure. But is he going to be the team starting quarterback all year? Is he going to have some career season? I need to see it before I say something crazy like that. Isaiah Oliver. A lot of people don't really know who he is. They're not really familiar with him. I'm going to say this right now. He might be the most underrated signing for the Niners this past offseason. Guy could play. Really solid player out of that slot nickel role. You lose Jimmie Ward. You sign Isaiah Oliver, formerly of the Atlanta Falcons. Look out for him. Jon Feliciano. I think he could be an unsung hero along this 49ers offensive line. He was the starting center for the New York Giants last year. In his career, he has also played guard. He did an interview recently with, I believe, Brad from SF Niners. Does a great job on his YouTube channel. Subscribe over there. Feliciano said, I'm going to compete to be a starter along this offensive line. He's a solid player. For Zane Gonzalez, if Zane Gonzalez makes the team, considering that the Niners drafted Jake Moody in the 3rd round, that is an absolute disaster. That means that the Niners' evaluation of Jake Moody was wrong. And if Jake Moody pisses down his leg, that is an awful situation for this team because they drafted a kicker in the 3rd round. It shouldn't even be a competition. It shouldn't be a conversation. If it is, that's not good. The pressure is on Jake Moody, and when pressure is on kickers, sometimes they fold. Will Jake Moody rise up to the occasion? He needs to. Clelin Ferrell. This is Chris Kosarek's latest project here. We've seen him maximize and elevate a Charles Omenihu. He's done the same thing with Arden Key. Did it with Kerry Hyder. Nick Bosa is the Defensive Player of the Year reigning. Can Clelin Ferrell finally put together a good season? If he's ever able to do it, it'll be with Chris Kosarek, the best defensive line coach in the NFL. Tashaun Gipson, he was great last year. I know Talanoa Hufanga in year 2 made an all-pro team. Tashaun Gipson played legitimately at an all-pro level. Can he do it once again, considering he's long in the tooth? So with what the front office did in free agency, my grade for the Niners in free agency, it is a B grade. The signing of Hargrave was really important. If they sign a Unique Ngakoue, I honestly might change that grade to a B+, but they haven't done it yet. I hope they do because Nick Bosa needs some help from the other defensive end. Is it going to be Drake Jackson? We'll see. Do me a favor, share this video. Let me know what you think of it. But if you do share this video, make sure you tweet it to me. Select that Twitter icon, hit that share button, click post to Twitter, and when you tag me at Chase_Senior, I'll give you a retweet. And if you give me in all caps, San Francisco, I'm going to see it. I'm going to be really, really excited. Niners key departures here. They did lose some marquee players, and that's what happens when you make deep runs in the playoffs because these players are looking to cash in. And when you make it deep, that means you have premier players who you're paying a lot of money to, and you can't afford some of these other guys. Jimmy Garoppolo gets the bag from the Las Vegas Raiders. Mike McGlinchey got paid by the Denver Broncos. Samson Ebukam made the most money among all edge rushers in free agency. It's crazy. Nobody would have predicted that. Jimmie Ward to the Houston Texans following D'Amico Ryans. Charles Omenihu to the hated Chiefs. Azeez Al-Shaair to the Tennessee Titans. And Hassan Ridgeway also departing. Those are the key departures. Which player will the Niners miss the most among those players who we just talked about? Jimmie Ward, team captain, invaluable to this team's success. I'm certainly going to miss him. Then you take a gander at the 49ers draft picks here. Love the selection of Ji'Ayir Brown. He's already turning heads in that facility. NFL body, instinctual player, very versatile, can play in the box, can play in the slot, can play deep safety as well. Jake Moody, we talked about him a little bit earlier. Pressure's on him, and it's insurmountable, honestly, considering where he was picked. Cameron Latu didn't have a great rookie minicamp, according to the buzz out there. He's big, kind of slow, though. We'll see. Darrell Luter, name to keep an eye out for. I liked the selection at the time. It reminded me of the pick 2 years ago of Samuel Womack. Small school guys, Womack, Toledo, Darrell Luter, also a small school guy, but they're instinctual players who have good ball skills, and that is something you can't teach at that cornerback spot, and he turned heads too in rookie minicamp. Robert Beal, I think he could end up being a really good player. Kirby Smart has raved about him. He just didn't get a lot of PT because he was behind a lot of first-round picks. And then you look at the late-round guys, Dee Winters, Brayden Willis, Ronnie Bell, Jalen Graham. Among these players, I like the selection and the value aspect of Ronnie Bell. Brayden Willis, among all tight ends in this draft class, had the highest broken tackle rate, so that's interesting. Dee Winters can hit the gap really quickly. Jalen Graham, we'll see. Haven't heard much out of him. But of these players, Winters, Willis, Bell, somewhat intrigued, and Willis could offer this team special teams value from day one. I've continued to say this. I did not love what the Niners did in the NFL draft. I don't know how they didn't come away with a right tackle. Like, we're really going to go with Colton McKivitz or Matthew Pryor. I don't necessarily agree with that. I thought that they reached on a couple of players as well. My draft grade is a C. My off-season grade is a B-. I think what they did was solid in free agency. Don't panic, though. I mean, this team still has an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, make a deep playoff run, and be a factor in the NFC. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. It's the San Francisco 49ers, 1-2 in the NFC, in my opinion. And I think they're once again on a collision course to meet in the NFC Championship game, because after that, I think there's somewhat of a sizable drop-off to teams like the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys. Before we hop on out of here, hit that sub button if you haven't already done so. Year-round, daily coverage of the San Francisco 49ers, and we'll catch you next time here on the show.